When we're standing here. Ladies and gentlemen, how's everybody doing out there? Welcome to the Side Jump. I am your host, Dennis Holmes. I usually have my co-host with me here, the Chocolate Girl, but the Chocolate Girl couldn't be here with us today. She had to take care of some family business. Other than that, we have a very, very talented, very funny, and veteran of comedy in the building. All right. You've seen him everywhere that comedy has been, and you've also seen him on movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Foxx. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Shaun Jones.
What's
Shaun
up,
Jones, how
man? How
you
you
doing?
doing today, man?
I'm listen. I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be here this Saturday morning. How about yourself?
I'm good too, but I thought I was gonna get a chocolate girl, and I got you.
Yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
big,
You're supposed
a
to get
big
the chocolate
Hershey
girl.
kiss.
Yeah, you're supposed to get the chocolate girl, and she lives in North Carolina too. It's
Oh,
crazy.
really? See, man.
She lives in Durham, North Carolina.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all right. We're
So
still gonna have fun regardless.
as usual, man. Every time I see you on stage, nothing but a great time. I just know now when I go to your shows, I ain't sitting up front. I know that for sure.
Nah, you
That's
know it's
right.
all love. You know I don't mess with nobody.
Yeah, no. You mess with people. I know it's all love, but the other day you got the club owner's mama. I was like, damn.
I know,
Like,
right? I didn't even know that was his mother. The check cleared though, so I guess we good.
hey, you good? You good? You know you
Yeah,
good with
we
the
good.
check clearing. But
Right.
now we know you've been a comedian for almost 30 years.
Right.
Almost 30 years. But what we want to know is what made you get up there and go on that stage?
Hey man, I guess it was ordained by God. You know what I mean? That's what, it sound corny, but it's true because I never, I really didn't have that I didn't want to be a comedian growing up, you know what I mean? I didn't look at Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy and say that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. But I just think that my personality and just the people that I was surrounded by pushed me into that, to that arena. And once I got that bug, it stuck. So I guess that's what God put me on this earth to do because like you said, here I am 28 years later, still grinding, still relevant. So I guess it's what I was made to be.
Yes, yes. This is what you was made to be. Now, do you remember the comedy theater that you actually went to and did your thing, or was it a house party or
What the first time I went on stage?
first time you went on stage?
Oh, I went through I guess I went through a different avenue because what I did was I left Jersey and I went to South Carolina for a quick moment to Charleston, South Carolina, and they had a comedy workshop. So I went ahead and took the comedy workshop that they had and befriended the gentleman who was giving the comedy workshop, Tony Kemp. He had been doing he had been doing comedy shows. For many years prior to that, since the early 80s. So he had a comedy workshop where you can go and teach you the techniques of comedy as well as, you can practice on stage and stuff like that. So that's where I went initially. And then the first time I went on stage was downtown Charleston, South Carolina. Uh, and I mean, from that day till today, man, I've been doing it full time. The first time I stepped on stage was the last time I worked a conventional job.
That's when you was doing insurance.
Yeah, I was doing insurance for a little while, and it's so cool because what happened was I was working for State Farm. I was cold calling people for insurance. That's back in the day when you had to look in the yellow pages, which you probably don't even remember the yellow
I know
pages.
the yellow pages, man. I'm 37. I know the yellow pages, man.
Okay, you almost grown. You almost grown. Your shoes almost got heels on them. You got that one level heel, right? That one level sole right now. You get past 40, you get the little heel in the back.
Okay.
But yeah, man. So I was working in insurance, and they laid me off. I had a real cool dude, RJ Washington. He had his own State Farm office in which I was a broke. I was doing selling insurance, but he laid me off. And he was like, man, I'm gonna make it where you can get unemployment. So while I was getting unemployment, I was critiquing my craft in comedy. So once the unemployment ran out, I started working on the road because fortunately during that time that was what we called the creative tour, the Black Comedy Tour. It started off in Virginia and then went all the way through South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee. It was like almost a 2-week tour. And Charleston had a comedy night on Sunday nights, and Augusta, Georgia had Monday night. So I was hosting in Charleston on Sunday, driving to Augusta, which is about 2.5 hours or so, hosting that on Monday night. So every week I was on stage and I had to come up with new material. So I perfected my craft a little bit quicker because I had really good stages, because every weekend I had from 60, 70 to 100 plus people every week that I was in front of, so it gave me my chops a lot quicker. So like I said, that's how. And then once my unemployment ran out, I was already working. I was hosting rooms two times a week, as well as I befriended a lot of comics. I knew a lot of comics prior to me even doing comedy, like JB Smooth, Bill Bellamy, all those cats. Because I grew.
The Jersey
That's
crew.
right.
Yeah.
I grew up in Jersey. I used to frequent one of the first black comedy clubs in America, which was Terminal D, which was on Freeland Heisen Avenue, downtown Newark, where I'm from. So I knew a lot of those cats. So they was coming through on the creative tour, on the black comedy tour. So, my transition was a little bit smoother than a lot of people had to experience early on in their career.
Okay. All right. Now, what was some of the lows that you would say in this business for you?
Oh man, I had several lows, from marriages failing to financial woes to doubting yourself. I mean, we all go through these cycles, and I mean, if anyone says that they hadn't been through that cycle, they haven't been really putting in that work. I mean, it's what makes you strong, and it's what makes you appreciate, when things are great. Yeah, I had a marriage that failed, first marriage that failed, due to traveling, I mean, just think about back in the day when I first got married, man, I was on Comic View. So I was on TV all the time.
Right.
I was young, I was feeling myself. So, being faithful wasn't it wasn't the top of my priority list. And I was just honest with my wife at the time to tell her that this is this is what had been going on. But that's a whole nother story about what she was doing. But anyway, but yeah. And just traveling is very difficult. A lot of people, it's different when you fantasize about being in a relationship with an entertainer versus being in that relationship. I tell people I can relate it to people excited about going into the military till they go to boot camp. Everybody want to, when you sign that line, say I'm going into the military, you're all excited. And then when you get out there and they wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning and have you doing all this strenuous stuff, now it's not fun. That's also how it is with entertainment, comedy. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's excited. They think about all the different places they would travel, all the different people they would meet, all these different things. But then you don't realize those weekends when everybody else is going out on dates, we're away. That's our work time. Fridays and
Right.
Saturdays, when couples are on date night, you working, and sometimes, we go on tours that might last a month or 2 weeks at a time. When we go outside the country, I used to travel to Japan and Korea, and that lasted 22 days. Or I would go to England, that would last 2 weeks. So you miss a lot of time with your family. You miss a lot of events, birthdays, holidays, all these different things. So it takes a toll on the relationship. And if you don't have a person if you have a person that has a 9 to 5, sometimes they don't understand the path that we take. So it's a strain on the relationship. So that's one of the
Yeah.
downfalls, that I've
Right.
experienced. But I'm good now.
And what up now? Okay. Um, I'm gonna say, because I've always wanted to know this about comedy specials. What goes in to the comedy special? Is I'm gonna let you tell your side of the story, then I'm gonna
Oh,
ask.
it's a lot, and I didn't realize myself what went into it until I had to experience it recently. We filmed my comedy special Father's Day weekend, 2022 this year, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. First of all, it's a lot of paperwork. Unfortunately, I had the perfect person in charge of that, Holly Seward, which is a friend of mine since ninth grade. we have been friends since ninth grade, and she used to work for HBO and New Jersey Pack and Symphony Hall, like a lot of the big
Okay.
venues, theaters in Jersey. So she knew how to do the paperwork, and it goes from finding the right production company, the camera stuff, the location, just the ins and outs of what the venue will allow, what the venue needs from you guys, negotiation on the price of the venue, the production, just the scheduling, travel, making sure everybody is where they need to be at the proper time, making sure promotion is done correctly, making sure appearances are set up, making sure that we have the list of people who are, where people are sitting. It's so much, man, and it took us approximately 4 months, I would say, minimum of preparing for that one weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
And this is your first comedy special after all these years.
Yeah, it was my first comedy special. See, the reason why it was so much for me is because we shot independently. I had an investor step in, and that's why we didn't have the Netflix or the Hulu's or the comedy dynamics that stepped in there and did everything. Which basically I feel better doing it this way because I had all creative control over everything.
Right.
A lot of times when people go through the different sources, they have, they say, well, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. They kind of have to say so what is acceptable and what is not. When we shot it ourselves, it's all up to us. That was all, what I felt and what my team felt comfortable with me talking about. That's what we went with. So it's a little different from when you're going with, with a platform having control over and putting up all the money and stuff versus you doing it yourself.
Okay. All right. Now with the comedy special, now when will it be available for people to
Well,
get it?
Well, see, that's another thing. And that's another thing that you have to do once you finish and you have post production. You have to do the editing and all those different things. Now we have to shop it ourselves. And fortunately, I have some good people around me that's shopping for me. Royale Watkins. I don't know if you're familiar with Royale. Royale was a comic on Comic View. I mean, on Def Jam back in the day. Real funny dude. You probably, which once again, you're 37. You might not remember him, but he was one of the comics that he was from DC, and he was like, we're not going to have any problems here in New York, right? When he turned around, he took his blazer off. He had a gun in the back of his pants. That
Oh
was
yeah,
one.
yeah. I do remember that. I remember that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was Royale. And he also played a small part in, I believe it was Deliver Us from Eva. He was the hairdresser, which everybody thought was gay, but
He
didn't
was
come to
gay.
find.
Right.
But he wasn't. Yeah, that's Royale. That's my dude. Good friend, man. Very great writer. He writes on the ABC television show right now. He's doing a lot of things, but he also produced and directed the Plastic Cup Boys special. He worked with Mike Epps on One Mike, on Mike Epps special. So
Okay.
Royale was the director for my special. And like I said, being that he was a good friend, he's using a lot of his sources to shop my special. So we're just trying to find the right platform. We've been talking to Comedy Dynamics, we've been talking to Netflix, we've been talking to Hulu, we've been talking to Amazon Prime. So we're going to each one to see who's interested and whether it's the right platform for us, as well as YouTube. We're just the thing is, I'm not in a hurry to just throw it out there. I want to make sure that it's the right venue and it gets the right exposure, so it puts me in the light that I need it to put me in. So
Okay.
it's a little,
Okay.
hopefully by
That's the
November.
part that I used to think that y'all hold the special and go on tour, to keep them jokes flowing. Because once the
Right.
special come out, you can't tell them jokes no more.
That's true, and
Right.
that's something that's going to be challenging. Other door. I'm sorry, my son is trying to get out, and he don't realize he can go out the other door. So yeah, he take after me. He's not. He don't use his common sense sometimes. But nah, that's another thing too, is having to do new material.
Right.
That's but you know I have a lot of material I can say that I've thrown away or forgotten about that, and I do a lot of freestyle ad libbing and stuff. So hopefully that'll carry me once the special comes out. And I've been
You
writing.
do,
I've been writing.
you do a great job with the freestyle. I think
Thank you.
somebody somebody said something crazy in the back. You used that about 3 times on the show.
Yeah,
I was laughing. I said, yo, he threw that right in
right.
there.
Yeah,
He's like,
I could
yay,
be a
yay.
coach. My mind doesn't work normally like everyone else does, and I say that jokingly, but realistically, my mind does not work like normal people. Like thoughts are always like when I'm on stage, my mind is going a million miles a minute, and it's like the Powerball machine. You ever see the balls just roll around? Didn't
Right.
shoot it up. That's the way my brain works. It's going. I can see thoughts going through my, and then they'll shoot one up, and by the time it shoots up, it comes out of my mouth. And I honestly, I believe that that's a gift that God gave me, which is unexplainable by me. I can't explain it. I truly can't.
That's good. Now, let's hear about the ups in this business. That was the downs. Let's hear about the ups.
Oh, I mean, there's so many ups, man. One, the biggest up for me, man, is honestly, and it sounds cliche and it sounds corny, is the fact of making people smile, man. I've had people come up to me who basically just buried a loved one, had a very devastating event happen just that particular day or that weekend. And after they leave my show, they were able to smile and laugh a little bit. That's significant. And that's something that, I don't take lightly. That's something that I cherish when people tell me that, man. And another thing that's the ups is meeting a lot of my idols, like people I grew up watching, and have them in my circle, and and to be able to communicate and have a relationship with them on a regular basis, and also traveling the world, man. I've been to places that most people dream about going, and I go there on a regular basis. Like I spend 2 weeks every year in the Bahamas at the Atlantis. I work there for 2 weeks straight. I work in Vegas. I've traveled to London. I traveled to Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Germany. Just all over the world performing. Being able, not just having to go and do something, do work, which you don't get. I get a chance to enjoy the places. Like when I go to England, we travel all around England. We go to Manchester. We go all these different places. I've seen, the big Ferris with the eye, Big Ben, the clock. Been to Japan, just rode on the bullet train and all these different things, and gone down to Itaewon and Osan, and that's a blessing. To be able to experience these places, and not only experience them in a way where people are showing you, like you have people who want to take you and want to show you off. So that's a lot of ups, and the money, so the money, you work
Money
hard,
is always good.
the money start to show. So that's
Yeah.
it.
Now, you said you was in the Bahamas. I've been to the Bahamas. You was actually in the good part. You was in Atlantis.
Yeah, man.
Um,
I've
yeah,
been
because they
to the
got a pool.
jungle in Nassau. I know Nassau like the back of my hand, man. I know over the
Yeah,
bridge,
over the Sydney Portier Bridge. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, over the bridge, but then you go over the hill into the hood. Like I've been to Marathon Mall, man. I know Mackey Street. I know all the
Oh
streets in the
man.
Bahamas. I've been going to the Bahamas for 20 plus years. I've been working at the Atlantis when Merv Griffin owned it. I got my first marriage was at the Atlantis. I got married in the same gazebo that Deion Sanders' first marriage took place. So, I mean, I've been frequenting the Bahamas for 20 something years. And so I know all the hoods. I know the other side of Nassau. I watched it evolve into what it is now, to all the
Yeah,
construction, the new hotels and stuff that's there. So yeah, I know the Bahamas.
yeah. That's that. I ain't gonna lie. I had a good time. I need to go back.
Yeah.
Um, now with the have you ever done the cruise ship thing?
Yeah, I used to work the cruise ships back in the day. Shoot, it's been about, I think I worked the cruise ship like 2004, 2005, somewhere in that timeline. Yeah, I used to work Carnival Cruise, and honestly, I was signed on to start working again on the cruise line this January. But because everything with the pandemic and the stipulations, like a lot of the American entertainers weren't able to get off in certain ports because of protocol in that country with COVID. So I was just like, why would I do this? And honestly, the money in which they were offering me wasn't close to what I'm making out here on this road. So I was like, uh, you know, and that's challenging because a lot of times you might have to sign on for 2 weeks and be out at sea and not have communications. Some places your phone doesn't work, your eye,
Yeah.
FaceTime. So it's challenging, man. If you have a family, like I said, got my little dude right here next to me. Whenever it's like it's even kind of like wow to even have this weekend off because it's a Saturday. I'm not working this weekend. You know what I mean? So that for him, like this is what I'm doing today. We chilling. Me and him are chilling. Mom's, she's doing her thing, cooking and stuff. So we just doing family stuff right now. But we don't get this to, especially not on a Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday. Dad's home. Come on now. So that's what we doing. He right here next to me. So the cruise
That's
ships was
cool.
kind of challenging.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool. Now, okay. Now, what's the most interesting place that you've ever performed at? Like one of your favorites, I would say.
Oh, it's not without a doubt. It's London, man. The Bloomsbury Theatre in the College of the University of London, the College of London. It's a theater holds about 800, and we do 2 nights. I think we did 2 nights. I believe it was. I've done it twice. Yeah, the Bloomsbury Theater was hot because you think England, you think just a bunch of white people, but this, the bounce. Was it the bounce that we were doing? I can't remember I think it was the bounce. No, that was in Amsterdam. But we did the Bloomsbury Theater, and it was like 800 black people, man. You got and some of them are Africans. So you got Africans that speak English, like it was really cool, man. And I also did my boy Kojo, which is a big comedian over in London. He has a comedy night that's you go down in the cellar, man, and I'm telling you, he might have like 200 people, tight packed. And that was my first time over in London, and man, I crushed that show so hard. And then 2 weeks later, uh, um, Dave Chappelle performed on that same. That's what they made Dave put out his cigarette. And they stopped the show to make Dave put out a cigarette because he was smoking in the venue. So, I was able to, perform at the same place that Dave Chappelle followed me after that. And and that's where you can see it on the internet, like our shows coming right behind each other. So that was,
That's good. That's
yeah,
definitely
London was
good.
a cool place.
And that's definitely good. I got to give you that. Now, I
Yeah.
was going to ask you your top comedians, but you said you can't put them
Well,
in no top because you.
well, it's,
Well, I'll let you tell me. Tell me how you feel about
well, the thing is, if you have a top five, you're putting people in places, and I feel as though that comedians, based on who they are, you can't say he's here, he's here, he's here, here. It's like all over the place for so many different reasons. Of course, you like Dave Chappelle because he's taken storytelling. And the thing about Dave is you might not agree with him, but the way that he unfolds the information and presents it to you, you might not agree, but you have to respect how he came to that opinion. So I put Dave at the top for that reason. You take Richard Pryor because he took all his pains and all his suffering and all his downfalls and presented it to the world and was able to laugh at it and have us laugh at it as well. That takes a lot of courage to be able to do that. So I would put him in that category. You take, Jerry Lewis, believe it or not. Jerry Lewis was one of my favorites because he would allow his body to do whatever his body and his mind told him to do. He's very physical. I guess you can put Jim Carrey in that same category.
it. I've
Um,
never heard nobody put Jerry Lewis up the top. You're the first
Jerry
one.
Lewis is, man, like if you go back and watch Jerry, I watched Jerry Lewis way before I did comedy. Him and Dean Martin and just the creativity that he brought to it, because a lot of it was ad libbing and what he brought to the different characters, man. That's your talent. That's on the spot, challenging yourself and not having any barriers. Like I said, Jim Carrey would be the same way because Jim never put. Unfortunately, sometimes as entertainers, we put these guardrails to keep us from going too far. And our mind has a lot of guardrails where we say, well, I want to say that, but if I say that, who am I going to piss off, or who am I going, how am I going to be perceived? So, but those cats was like, I don't care. This is who I am. Robin Williams was the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You have Eddie Murphy that was just raw, that was just talented, was just like, look at me, here I am. So that's why Bill Cosby, his storytelling and how he drugged women. Oh, that's all. I'm just bullshit.
Oh,
Nah, that
all
was,
right, hold on.
I'm just joking. Nah. But Bill Cosby, because he would have you so compelled at his story that you would just sit there and just listen, and you pictured his kids coming downstairs with soap in their eyes and his wife standing, all that stuff. That's so you put him in that category. So that's why, and there's so many more that I haven't even mentioned that a lot of people don't even know. I can look at my boy, JB Smooth, his physicality. JB didn't care. JB was one of those cats back in the day. JB would milk a joke so far that you was like, there's nothing left, and he would find more. You know what I mean? It's too many cats to say my top five. You
I
know,
feel you.
too
I
many.
feel you. Now, I got a fan question.
Okay.
Who have you been influenced by the most?
Well, it's so funny now, and I take this as a compliment, and I hope people are not meaning this as insult. But I've been compared to John Witherspoon a lot. Me and John
Yes,
worked together,
yes, you. I can see that a whole lot.
but
I
it's
can
so
see that a
funny.
whole lot.
Yeah, it's the way that my wording and like I pull my words. But I was doing that before I was working with John, and while I was working with John, I would do it. But he never came to me and said, "Hey, man, you gotta stop doing that. That's not me." He never had a problem with it. But it was a character that a way that I talked just around people that I knew. So I'm compared to uh, him for the cadence. I guess my cadence. I was compared to Bernie Mac because both of us got big eyes. But I get as far as looks, I would get Chris Tucker all the time, dude. Early on, back when I was younger, I had the afro. It was always Chris Tucker, where I even got mistaken for Chris in the mall a couple of times. But and then even Chris was like, for a while, he was like, "Man, we don't look nothing like." I said, "Man, Chris, I get tired of people saying we look like." He said, "Man, we don't look nothing alike. We don't look." And then finally, a couple of years ago, we were taking a picture. He looked at me and said, "Man, you starting to look like the family, man. You start." So it's like, so but and I just remember Chris' brother when Chris had the club in Atlanta. His father, his father came out of the kitchen one time. He said, "Man, you was on stage. I was looking up there. I said, what Chris doing in the suit? Chris don't wear no suits." So he thought it was Chris on stage and it was me. But Chris is taller than me anyway. So uh,
Right.
so those are, I guess you can say Bernie Mac. I get Bernie Mac, John Witherspoon, and I look like Chris Tucker, I guess.
Okay. I like that. I like that. All right. Those are the guys who influence you. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, that was from me and Doug right there.
Okay.
What else I want to know? Now, listen. I heard growing up that your dad was a boxer, which got you
Professional.
into boxing.
Well, he tried to. I I just wasn't into it, bro. I played football and basketball, so I always wanted to be a professional football player. I lived and breathed football growing up, man. I had every football card, which was in team order, position order. I had them all organized. But my father, like I said, prior to me being born, he was a professional boxer. He retired. He opened restaurants out throughout Newark. He had like 3 or 4 restaurants. He had a bar that he owned as well. But we had a full gym in our attic: punching bag, speed bag, gloves, all the gear, weights. My father would make a sit-up board out of stuff. Like my father would take shit out the house and make, my mother go to water the grass and he uncut the holes and put it for the foot the foot rope when we're doing sit-ups and all that stuff. We had a
Wow.
full-fledged gym in our attic, the entire gym, the big punching bag, the medicine balls. And my father always wanted to get me in the ring, but I just wasn't interested in it. He would train other kids from the neighborhood. One of his restaurants, he bought the place next to it and made that side a full gym where he would bring kids in the neighborhood and work out. I would try to work out my pops. Like he would run 10 miles a day and I would ride my 10 speed bike trying to keep up with him and couldn't even do it.
Mm,
My
mm.
father, yeah. So Yeah, I grew up around boxing, man, but now I have a greater appreciation. I wish I would have gotten into
Yeah,
it.
I didn't like boxing until later. Also, like you, I was a big football guy. I wanted to be Reggie White. That's who I
Right,
wanted
right.
to
Oh, because you're from Philly, so
be.
yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to be
the
Reggie White.
Ripper.
I still don't know how you became a Cowboys fan. Like, how did this happen?
I
That's
don't
what I'm
even
trying
know
to
why
figure
you're an Eagle fan.
out. I'm in Philly. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
that don't mean nothing. It ain't. That's
Look, I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you a part that makes this even worse. My dad is a diehard Cowboys fan.
right. But let me explain. See, a lot of people say, "How can you?" Because you have to think. See, you can't think about now. You have to think about. You talking
The
about the
'70s.
'80s, the '70s, and the '80s, where
Right.
television wasn't what it is now. You know what I mean? So on a Sunday afternoon, you had CBS, ABC, and I can't remember what I don't know if NBC, but it was only you got an early game and you got a late game. You had one the NFC and the AFC. So you on a Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock started. If you were in Jersey, we would get the Giants, right? Which you would think I'd be a Giant fan. But the later game would most likely be the Cowboys because remember the Cowboys was America's team. So we were always exposed to the Cowboys all the time. Even though you live in New York, you live in Jersey, you see the Giants, but the Cowboys were highlighted. They were America's team. They were glorified. You had a television show called Dallas that comes on after the game. So you would constantly show how great of a city Dallas was, how great of a team they were. And during this time, you had just, you had Drew Pearson, you had Lynn Swan. You had Drew Pearson, you had Tony Hill, you had Tony Dorsett, you had Roger Starr. You had all these players that were glorified and outside of football on Sunday. You know what I mean? And then my mother was a school teacher, and it just so happened that one of the substitute teachers was a retired Dallas Cowboy, and I met him, and that just set the tone for me. That was since the early '70s. I used to sit there and watch them lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl. But that's what I grew up on. But then I also watched them beat the Denver Broncos and beat all the other the Buffalo Bills 3 times. I watched this, so that's how I became a Cowboy fan. I was just obsessed with Tony Dorsett and Drew Pearson. And after the game, we'll go outside, and I was Drew Pearson, and my boy was Tony Hill. And it's so funny. My boy Eric, he had a Cowboy because his family from Dallas, and he looked like them. He was like Mexican and black, so he had the big afro. So when he put his helmet on, his his hair would stick out in the back like Tony Hill, and we would just throw passes and catch him over our shoulder. It was just we were glorified. The Cowboys were glorified, and I stay true to my team to this day.
All
I have a
right,
couple
man.
of friends that played for the Cowboys too, so that makes it even better.
Doug said, so you got brainwashed to become a Cowboys fan.
Who's
I get
Doug?
it now.
Who's
Doug, yeah, Doug, that's Mayor Doug Phoenix right there.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, he said he get it now. It makes 1,000,000% of sense now. You were brainwashed.
Right, brainwash, huh?
My,
I
my
was
dad
Doug.
must have been my dad must have been brainwashed just like that. But I want to know because you've been a Cowboys fan since the '70s, and I
Right.
just want to know who was your top 5 Cowboys.
Oh, my top five. I just said it. It has to be Tony Dorsett, Drew Pearson, Tony Hill. Well, Tony Hill was cool. Tony.
You're the first one I heard mention Tony Hill. Let me get that out of the way.
Oh yeah, I know them all. Billy Joe Dupree, bro. I'm true to it, man. Ron Springs, Charlie Waters, Bob Lilly. I'm true to it, bro. I don't mess around with my boys. Emmett Smith is definitely one. Michael Irvin is the top. Michael Irvin.
He's sweating right now.
Who? Michael Irvin?
Yeah, he's sweating right now. Somewhere sweating. That's what he's doing right
That's my dude, though. He got so much charisma, man. He's great. You know, uh, I have to say one that y'all probably not even familiar with. I got to say my boy Jeremy Mincy, who took over once my boy went over to. Once they sent DeMarcus Ware over to the Denver Broncos, they brought Jeremy Mincy over, which was number 92. Who the second season he was there, he was a sack leader for the Cowboys. That's my personal friend. That's my boy, my dog, my ace, man. I used to mess with him when he used to play with the Jaguars, but that's my dude. So I got to put my boy in case he watched this. I got to make sure I make it known that that's one of my.
Jeremy Mincy, never heard of.
Jerry Mincy was the man for the Jaguars. He played with the Jaguars about 8 years, and then he got traded to Denver in the year they lost in the Super Bowl. He played for them, and then he came to the Cowboys. DeMarcus Ware went to the Broncos, and Jeremy came over to the Cowboys, and he played right in, but he was a good dude. He had a good career, man. But I got so many Cowboys, man. Shoot, like I said, Zeke is if I had to say Pollard is my man right now. Pollard is the man.
You like Pollard over Zeke?
Huh?
You like Pollard over Zeke?
Right now, Zeke, I don't think Zeke has that killer instinct that he had the first couple of seasons. You know what I mean?
He showed up against us.
Yeah. But that's because they changed the offensive plan. They kind of was helping out. Cooper Rush. They made an offense that basically was for Cooper, which basically the Cowboys went back to the running game. So, and that hopefully they give Dak that same privilege instead of trying to make him fit into the offense that they have for him. Kellen Moore has an offense and he's trying to fit Dak in there. Build that offense around what works for Dak. Like they're doing for Lamar over in Baltimore and a whole lot of other cities. They know what the quarterback's strong aspects are and weaknesses, and build that offense around that. So,
yeah, like they did for us, Philly.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. And I'm gonna say this on record. I despise Philly. I lived in Wilmington for a while, so I used to go down South Street all the time. So I know that area very well. Shaun and Stacey Andrews were good friends of mine that played for the Eagles, and I would.
Yeah, I know their brothers.
The brothers. You know what I mean. So I sat in Lincoln where I couldn't wear my jersey because y'all are fools in Philly when it goes to the game. But right now, I'm pulling for my boy because when he was a gentleman at Alabama. He took a step back. He went over to Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? Hurts went over there. He never made a fuss. He never made a spectacle of himself. He went over to Oklahoma, did his thing over there, came into the NFL. When he got a chance to start, excuse the expression, they shitted on him. They treated him like he wasn't capable of being an NFL quarterback, like he didn't have the skill set or the mindset to take on that position. They automatically counted him out when y'all gave Carson Wentz, crowned him with he didn't even show how great he was. Don't even make me go into the whole thing, with the Super Bowl and all that. But Carson, they gave him the green light before he even proved himself, and they shot Jalen down before he got a chance to play. And now that he's balling out and throwing, running, decision making, I love it. I'm for the brother, and you know what I'm saying, because they automatically.
I call him my son. I call Jalen Hurts my son.
Right.
My son. That's how much I love him, like he's a son.
Yeah, man. You know why? My little cousin was a quarterback for Duke. Anthony Boone, quarterback for Duke. They counted him out. He went to the bowl game against what's your boy? Once again, from Texas A&M. Kind of went bust.
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel. They played Johnny Manziel. They had him. Duke had him in the first half. They got comfortable, and Johnny Manziel.
Ain't that some stuff?
Yeah.
Johnny
football. Johnny football. And he threw for almost 400 yards in that game. And he went to the NFL and they questioned his height. Doug Flutie was 6 foot. They questioned his arm strength. He threw for 70. He threw a 70-yard pass in that game. You know what I mean? His decision making. He was the winningest quarterback in Duke football history. Went to the bowl game, made Duke relevant on the football field, because they was always basketball, but they counted him out, and they tried when he went to the NFL, they tried to make him a receiver, you know. So, but anyway, we in a whole now. We outside of comedy now.
Yeah, well, I mean, certain things like that happen. Don't worry about. I mean, let's get into how you became an actor, how you got in these movies.
Okay, so that story was I had a manager when I was living in Atlanta, and he wanted to do a showcase, and he wanted to do a showcase in L.A. So we are about 15 of us comics flew out to L.A. and we did a showcase at the Improv on Melrose. And as things have it, they was expecting a big turnout, and there was about 25, 30 people in the audience, and a lot of the comics just mailed their act in. They just went up there, you know, messed around a little bit and got off stage. When it's my turn, anytime I touch that mic, I take that seriously. So I performed as if it was 200 to 2,000 people in that audience, and did my stuff. And the next day, my boy was taking me to the airport, and my manager called me and said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm on my way back to Atlanta. We're going to the airport." He said, "Turn around. You ain't going back to Atlanta." There was an agent in the audience, and they want to sign you. It was Martin Lawrence's first agent. He had been in the
Wow,
back room watching the show. So turn that car around. He said, "You moved to LA. We'll represent you." I moved me and my family out to LA, and as soon as I got there, I started going on auditions. And the coolest part about when I got the part for Shade, I went into this casting agency. It was packed. There was a bunch of white guys. So I walked up to the receptionist. I said, "Hey, I'm here to read for Mr. Osi." And she looked at me like, "Are you sure?" And she was like, "What part are you reading for?" I said, "Mr. Osi." And she was like, "Okay." When I looked around the room, it was all white dudes and one other black dude that I had just seen on the Parkers. That particular guy was, "Hey, that's the dude from the Parkers." But other than that, it was all white dudes. And I said, "Oh, so they wrote this part for a white guy." And so I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna show him how a brother do it." And I got the part in the movie. But that's how I got into acting, because I was already acting a little bit once I got out there to LA. I had an acting coach, had a great acting coach out there, um, and I was in acting classes. So I hit the ground running.
that's good. That's definitely good. Now, how many different what other movies were you in
Well, prior
besides
to
Shade?
that, I had little extra roles. I was in Lean on Me. I was a student in Lean on Me back in the day. Uh, in the
What's
big
Stu? What's Stu?
I was not visible. Like, it was, honestly, it was really blurry. Cause like I showed my son recently, but it's like so quick. I was um I was just a student, and when he got rid of all the students, when they had to, remove them expeditiously or whatever he said. You know what I
Right,
mean? So
on the stage when he was on the stage.
right. So I was in that scene. I was in Ace Ventura 2, uh, which I was a Watuchi tribeman, the guy with
You
all the
had
white.
to be.
And I'm going to tell you this one, and my son still to this day does not believe that that's me, because I was so young. Uh, in the big house, remember he flipped the truck. He flipped the truck at the big house, Ace Ventura,
Right.
and he was like, "The Monopoly Man." Remember, he walked over to the guy, and Simon, which was the actor's name, Simon was on the horse doing tricks with the horse, and he hit the horse with the crop. And when he got off, Jim Curry hit him with the crop, and he said, "Funny, it didn't hurt when you hit the horse." When he got off the horse, he took his hat and his gloves and he handed it to me. And here's the funny part. So all I had to do when that scene happened, Simon got off the horse, took his hat and his gloves, handed it to me. I just supposed to go like that and bow out. So when I did, I went like that, and the director was like, "Cut, hey man, you can't look at the camera when you just grab the hat and the gloves, just bow and back out. Action, cut, hey bro, hey, you can't do that. You can't look at the camera. All right, action." And you can just see my eyes go. So when you watch the movie, and when he get off the horse and he hands the glove, you'll see me. I got a little funny little hat. You'll see my eyes go to the corner of the camera like, I'm gonna get my moment of opportunity to be a star. So you can see
I
that
see.
part in the movie.
That,
But
that's crazy.
I was also on The Shield, which was a cop show. Uh,
Right.
I was a riot cop, which we had to save the woman that played Doughboy's mother in Boys in the Hood. We had to save her in a riot. She was like a civil rights speaker or something, and it was a riot broke out. Cars were blowing up, and we had to grab her and take her to safety. So I was a cop in that. I was in Your Worst Nightmare, which was a television show. I was an investigating sheriff. So I had a couple of roles, man. I played some parts.
That's good. Definitely good. Man, you got to put some of them throwback videos up on your social media.
I
That's what
know.
you
I
got to
try to
do.
find some. I, there's a lot of stuff that I have never seen. Stand up stuff. We were just talking about that the other day. Me and another comedian friend. There's some comedy shows I've never seen. I never seen Off the Chain on Bounce TV that I did. Robert Townsend, Partners in Crime, The New Generation. I've never seen that.
Mm.
Um, uh, there's like I just I can't find the Shield. I can't find. I've done 7 seasons of Comic View. There's certain Comic Views I haven't seen. From
Yeah, I can't find Comic View either, and it's crazy because I was spoiled at one point. I used to watch it when it come on BET like 2 in the morning, and I
right.
watched Comic View and everything. And the girl I was with at the time was like, "You always watch Comic View. Won't you just go ahead and be a comedian?" I said, I ain't that good. They wrote this out. They went through the crowds. I ain't getting that moment when somebody boo me and all that. I ain't that good.
Part of the
I ain't
game,
that
man.
good. And it's part. I was going to ask you about that. What happened when you actually got booed?
When I got booed,
Or that what y'all call it? Getting bombed? I
when you
forgot what y'all
bomb,
call
when you bomb, yeah,
it.
we all been through that. Fortunately, God bless. I mean, in fact, I haven't had to do it. I haven't experienced it that often. Knock on wood. I don't ever want to jinx myself and make it seem like I'm somebody that I'm not. But man, that's nothing like it. But you know what? It helps. It builds you. I remember the first time I really really bombed was I went back to Jersey. I hadn't been back to Jersey in a while.
Oh, not at home. Damn.
I, and here's the crazy part. It was anybody who's from Jersey, everybody know the Peppermint Lounge. The Peppermint Lounge was the spot. It was the party spot, and it was the spot for comedy. Bill Bellamy was hosting,
Is
and
that
Bill, cause
wait a
Bill
minute? Ain't the Peppermint Lounge? Ain't that the spot that they auditioned y'all for to go on Def Jam?
going Def Jam, yeah, yeah. So
Ah,
it was hard. So Bill was the manager because Bill used to host at Club 88, which was on Thursday nights, but he also would host at the Peppermint too. And Bob Sumner was there, and Tina Graham, and all those cats. But I went home, and so this particular night I was performing. Bill hosted. Um, and everybody was in the audience. Naughty by Nature, because this is my neighborhood. I grew up in a neighborhood with Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, Redman. I grew up in North Newark. You know, I was right on the borderline of East Orange, where Tretch and all of them would hang out at Old Oval Park. That's why for a long time I thought OPP was Oval Park Posse because there was a park called Oval Park we used to play basketball at. So that's what I thought it was. You know,
wow.
but
I don't know nothing
we,
about that. I
I
only been
know.
to East Orange. I think once when I went and did a podcast down there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Shout out to my boys off the top sports.
Okay, yeah, yeah, man. That's. I grew up in that in Queen Latifah. My sister was a hairdresser, so Queen Latifah would get her and her mother would get her hair done at a cut above the rest, which is downtown Newark. So I knew Latifah. She would come over to my sister's house for like parties and stuff like that. But anyway, so I went home. So all of them are there, and prior to leaving Jersey, I was engaged and we had our engagement party at the Peppermint. So I'm like, yo, I'm going home, I'm representing. And man, I went up there and this is what a lot of comics do. We look at the audience and we try to conform to what the audiences are and what we think they want us to be instead of just being yourself. And I tell a lot of young comics, you might think that the audience is dumb, that they don't realize that you're trying to be something that you're not. It's like a white dude that you're a straight white comic, but then you see an all black audience and now you're trying to conform to what it is you think they want you to be. And it shows so easily. And I went up there, man, in less than 2 minutes they gave me the business. It was like they booed me to the car, nigga. Like, I mean, it was so yo, I couldn't do nothing. I walked off the stage, walked out the club, and I think I sat in the car until my family was ready to go back to South Carolina after that, dude. And it's so funny because I remember we had rented this van because it was a lot of my mother, my sisters, my cousins and stuff. And I was driving the van. I just remember looking out the window and just hear, "I was born by the river." I was just waiting for that lady to come and say, "Don't you pay them no never mind." Man.
Oh, yeah. Jersey is definitely in the house. Shout out to Tavad. Jersey is definitely in the house. Yeah.
Yes.
That is crazy. Well, listen, the holidays are coming up.
Yep.
Big movie coming out, Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're an MCU fan. Are you an MCU fan?
How am I?
Are you a Marvel fan? You a Marvel fan?
I'm there. I'm not deep like a lot of other cats, but I'm there. I'm Marvel. My son is this bro. Like this dude right here is Marvel. He breathes Marvel. I mean everything.
Yeah, Marvel and Fortnite. He's still on Fortnite?
Is he on Fortnite? Oh,
yeah.
He got his own podcast. He got his own YouTube channel. The cat got a video that went over 100,000 views. He got more followers on YouTube than I do. So this the cat you need for this segment. Yeah, he know all about Marvel.
I ain't going too deep into it, but we'll get I know you're gonna go see Black Panther 2. That's what I was asking about that.
Yes.
But
yes.
What are some of the best and worst gifts you got for the holiday?
The worst gift? Oh man, come on now. I remember this a long time ago when I was in school. This little we had a grab bag and one of my classmates gave me some shampoo, and it was a little white boy. You gonna give a nigga shampoo? I said, I kid you not. He gave me shampoo as a Christmas gift. Man, let me tell you something. I think that's when I really started disliking what. No, I'm just joking. They gave me shampoo, bro. Shampoo.
It was a grab. It
was a grab. I wanted to grab his ass. Grab his ass. This nigga gave me shampoo, bro. I kid you not.
Oh man. Okay, what's the best gift you got?
On Christmas. Oh man. It's amazing I can remember the worst gift, but I'm trying to remember my best. I kid you not. I swear on my life that is a true story, man. Gave me shampoo for Christmas.
Oh,
white people, man. If you're watching white people, don't ever do that to a black person. Don't give us no. We don't need no shampoo. Y'all be buying that shampoo that dried out here anyway. We got a special texture. We have a special consistency about our hair. We can't use your Prel and all that other shit, the pony hair and all that shit. We need some good shampoo that's good with black folk hair. But what'd you say?
The best. What's the best gift you got? Let me see. She said socks as a kid, but now as an adult, it's not that bad. That was the worst gift she got with socks as a kid.
She got socks. Yeah, socks. That's a norm. That's what Father's Day for. We get that for Father's Day. They'll socks and ties and shit that don't match with nothing you got in your closet, and socks that don't even fit your foot. Then you got some dress footies on because them shit's about that long, But what's one of the best gifts that I got for Christmas? Oh, I get some great gifts, man. My son and wifey, they give me some great gifts for Christmas, man. So I got so many. I don't know. What's the best gift. I gotta think. That's crazy because I never really thought about it because I just, I'm the kind of cat. Whatever you give me, besides shampoo, I appreciate my shampoo. I'll curse your ass out. You give me shampoo. I'm telling you that right off the cuff. You give me shampoo, I'm cursing you out.
I'm not. I make sure nobody gets you no shampoo.
No shampoo, bro. But they did.
What grade was you in? Let's get that out. What grade was you in? So I gave you shampoo.
I don't even know. I had to be. It was maybe like sixth grade, fifth or sixth grade, something like that, man. That was man. That was some whack. That was a whack. His mother needed to be ashamed of herself because he had to say, "Mom, what do you think about this?" She said, "That'd be good." So he couldn't have done it on his own unless they went in their bathroom and found. Maybe I'm being ungrateful. Maybe that's all they had. They couldn't even go out and
That's
buy
what I
it.
was thinking. I
But
was always given the benefit of the doubt, but you thought
right.
about that for a while. You've been out of school for a while, so
Don't
you've been
be
thinking about that for
don't you
a
disrespect. I've been
while
out of school
as the
for
worst
not
gift.
that long.
The worst gift I ever got, somebody got me some Cowboys. I said, man, I'm not no damn Cowboys fan.
Let me get it.
I
Let
mean,
me
they
get
got me
it.
gloves, hat, all that. Now that's
Really?
back when I was in school.
See, they was trying to let you know what you needed to be in your life. See, you gotta look
Yeah,
at
my
the
dad
signs.
was excited.
You gotta look at the signs that come to you, bruh. That's what it was, man. But
Only thing I like about the Cowboys is Dak Prescott, Michael Parsons, and
Mike,
that
Mike,
stadium.
Mike is the man.
That's
Have you
it.
been to the stadium?
Yeah, I've been to the stadium. Me and my dad went. That was on our bucket list. Go to an Eagles Cowboys game in Dallas. Me, my
I
dad, my
supposed to go
uncle,
tomorrow.
and my cousin went. We all went together.
Okay, I supposed to go tomorrow, but I'm not. I'm gonna just chill with because they playing the Lions tomorrow, and we always go. Me, Tony Roberts, Big Sean Larkins, Howie Bell, and me,
Okay.
Tony, because they're from Detroit, so they're going to represent the Lions and me and Tony Tone and my boy, we all represent the Cowboys. So we went
That's
a
a good
couple of years
job.
ago when they played the day after the Monday Night Football when they played Christmas and. We beat them Lions up bad. That's when Zeke was wearing them gold cleats. So
Yeah.
we all supposed to go tomorrow, but I'm just gonna chill, man. I'm gonna stay home. I'm not gonna go to the tomorrow. But I might go next week when they play Chicago. They play Chicago next week, so I might be out
Yeah,
there.
y'all will win that game. Y'all ain't gonna win this game against Detroit.
I don't know, man. Detroit do play kind of tough, but Dak got something to prove. He's back, so and Parsons, that's my dude, man. But he's from your state. He's from Penn State, man.
Yeah,
Parsons.
he's from Harrisburg.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, 1-2. Yeah.
yeah.
He is nice. I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah,
he is nice.
that's a LT. He got that LT flavor.
Yeah,
But
he do.
yeah,
Now I'm gonna end this joint right. You are a cigar smoker. The
yes,
only cigar I've had
Black and
is a
Mild.
Romeo Juliet.
Yeah, that's pretty common. That's pretty
Yeah,
common.
I
Yeah,
knew you was gonna say that. I knew you was gonna say that, but
I'm
that's
off.
the
I'm
only
off the
cigar I
grid.
had.
I'm off the grid with mine. I'm off the grid. Anybody who's a smoker, Rocky Patel is a you know. I'm hoping to meet Rocky in a couple of weeks from now. He has some great venues all over the country, but Rocky Patel, 55, number 6, it's just so many different ones. But my cigar of choice right now is a Placencia Octagon. Yeah, it's a funny shaped cigar, but it's an outstanding cigar, green label. Um, those are my choices. Or Leaf by Oscar is another one, which is you might be able to handle a Leaf by Oscar. It's a more natural cigar. But yeah, I'm a smoker. I go to different cities and I find a cigar lounge. And in
Yeah,
fact,
I've heard you say that Cam Newton has one of the sexiest joints.
yes, Cam Newton has Fellowship in Atlanta, right down the street from Mercedes Stadium in Atlanta. Man, it's he does
It's
his
down
pop.
the street from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
It's not that far. It's in the what
It
area?
must
I
be
can't.
near Magic City.
No, Magic City is over on the other side. Magic
On the
City
other
is
side, so there's
by
on
the
that
bus
side.
station. Yes, it's Magic City is closer to downtown Atlanta. Mercedes is on the other side. It's like it's hard to explain, but he's not too far. I'm trying to think of this area. It's a certain name for this area where the cigar lounge. It's on the corner, but it's hot, man. He is sexy all the way around from the staff to the venue itself. He does his podcast out. He has an upstairs area. He has great food. It's just a cool, sexy atmosphere. You got to dress a certain way, and I'm that same thing here in Charlotte. I'm a member of Vintage Cigar Whiskey and Cigar Lounge, which is Michael Jordan's father's old auto shop that they turned into a cigar lounge, and it's pretty upscale. We get a lot of the Panther players and the Hornet players and the coaches that come over to that spot, as well as Michael Jordan is sneaking there every now and then in the back. They sit in
Okay.
the
Now,
yeah.
she said, "What notes or hints do you like in a cigar?"
I'm more or less I like I don't like peppery. I'm a 60 gauge. I like 60 gauge, and I'm a medium to full. I don't do the real strong full body, but I do like a little sweet, a little not. I wouldn't say chocolate because now you're talking about the Javas and all those kind of those pretty cigars. I'm like, I want my cigar to taste like a cigar because I want my candy, my chocolate to taste like chocolate. You know what I mean? So I got different flavors. Different choices and sticks. I'll test out new stuff, but I don't like the real strong peppery. I like woodsy. Kind of like I can't even think right now of my different choices, but I'll take you out for a stick and I'll let you try different ones. And she seemed like she know what she's talking about, so I might need to have a stick with her too.
Yeah, Tava. Yeah, she had an event last year that had a guy that got his own cigars.
Yeah.
I bought some of his cigars. I didn't light them yet. I still got them. I didn't light them yet, but I bought some of his.
Let me ask you a question. Where are they?
Where are they? Upstairs in my room.
And what do you have them in?
The plastic joint he gave them to.
They just sitting out like that?
Yeah.
He just go ahead and throw them away. them things is dry as an old lady coochie, bro.
Oh.
You gotta put them. You gotta keep them moist. You gotta keep them in the humidor. You gotta keep them.
She said she's a newbie. Hold on. She said she's a newbie. Just a brown bottom thing.
Oh, she do. You mean the fat bottom Betty's?
I guess that's what it is. Don't get me lying.
Yeah, she do. Yeah, fat. See, she likes fat bottom Betty because fat bottom Betty's they would have like a cherry. When you first start to smoke it, it's like the stem the stem itself has like a cherry flavor to it, so it's a little flavory. So a lot of, I don't mean this in a sexist way, but a lot of women will smoke fat bottom Betty's and stuff like that. But I honestly, I grabbed a couple of weeks ago because I was at the gym and the cigar place had, and I needed some to smoke on the patio. So I grabbed some. A pretty decent cigar. Not, I wouldn't smoke it if I'm in prestige company as a man with some fat bottom Betty's. I wouldn't.
Nah, they look at you weird.
Yeah, but it's a good cigar.
But see, now you okay? Now, how do you know what whiskey or bourbon goes with what cigar, or you just use the same one all the time?
I just use whatever I feel. Like I've tried different things. Like right now, my drink of choice when I'm smoking is an old fashioned smoked. That's you get the cedar and you put it on there and you drink smoke. So old fashioned is the one. I have a couple of different ones. I have one. There's a whiskey in which I get that you only can get in Texas, which is where Dallas is. Just to let you know, Texas or Oklahoma. It's called TX. It's called TX, or there's Bumba Rum, which is Lil Wayne's rum, which is amazing. Those are good ones that I usually drink with a cigar. But an old fashioned right now is my drink of choice with a nice stick. So
you said you only get that TX in Texas. Okay.
Huh?
When I go to Texas next time, I'm gonna go try that tea. Next time I go to Texas, me and my dad gonna go to another Eagles Cowboys game. We ain't gonna go to this one on Christmas Eve, but we're gonna go to another.
I'm telling you, if do you like a citrusy whiskey, like with a hint of orange and stuff like that, maybe vanilla? Is that or do you like something?
I'm more of a straight up whiskey guy. To be honest with you, it don't have to have the hint or none of that. I don't knock it. I'll drink it. But I ain't gonna say it's one of my favorites. Let me just say that.
Right, but it's good because then they have the whiskey blend and they have the straight up whiskey, the TX whiskey, and then they have the whiskey blend. So try both of them, man. It's really good. It's nice. You just do it on the rocks. Just do it on the rocks. Nothing. I'm putting nothing in it. Yeah, I like that.
I'm an old. Just let you know, I'm an old school E&J guy too. Let you know that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's real old. You can put that in your gas tank if you're running low. That'll get you from one gas station to some E&J, nigga. Like, shit, you must wear kangaroo sneakers too.
I'm an old school E&J guy, and
right.
I like the Douce now. I like the Douce a lot.
Yeah, see, that's strong stuff. Like that's straight. Like,
yeah, see, that's me.
Yeah. That can kind of, for me, it kind of it kind of alters my cigar, because you got to get over the shock of that alcohol to get to your cigar. Like I can, make a smooth transition with what I drink. I'm not a real heavy drinker anyway, so I don't need unleaded regular in my glass on the rocks like you do. Some anthrax, some liquid anthrax. I don't need that to you know to get me buzzed. I'm a lightweight.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's it. That's all it is. But you know what? You can go to JMO. You drink some Jameson. They call it JMO.
Yeah.
Jameson, you'll be all right.
Yeah. I tried, like I said, I've tried quite a few. And I've been around a lot of alcohols. I live with an NBA basketball player. Some of my best friends have played professional football. So I have been surrounded by
You said you live with an NBA basketball player.
Yeah, my boy AJ English used to play with the Washington Bullets back in the day. We used to live in Wilmington, Newcastle. He had a spot out in Newcastle when he first went to the Bullets, and
Wow.
I was running a nightclub in Delaware, and he was like, "Yo, dude, I got this big house. My fiance and my kids ain't moving in now. Yo, come chill." And we chilled, man. And we yeah, that was my first introduction to NBA ball players back in the day. So it was
Nice.
interesting. Yeah.
That is nice. That is nice. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Definitely good to hear. But listen, this has been great to have you on this show.
Thank
Now,
you,
is there
man.
anything you want to tell us about upcoming dates or when you come into the tri-state area again? Back home to Jersey for the Jersey fans out here.
Well, I know we have been trying to put together something for Christmas, but it's probably too late now because Samore is from Jersey. I did the last Christmas special with my girl.
Oh, that was good. Y'all did a great job with that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That's my
Y'all
girl.
did a great job with that. Now that I can watch anytime because I got that when Two Ray put that up and he was on there and I was like, oh, this about to be good.
Yeah, that was me, Two Ray, Tight Mike, and some more. That was her Christmas special, The Men of Chandelier. So she had been trying to, get one with like me, I guess Bill Bellamy, because he's from Newark, all of the Jersey people. But it's too late now. I'm doing a lot of the improvs and funny bones now in the Helium. So hopefully I'll be back up in that area real soon doing some stuff, man. I'm traveling with Ricky Smiley. We've been on the road for about me and Ricky, we've been on the road for maybe about I was on tour with Bill for a while. Then when I got off the tour with Bill, I started touring with Ricky. I met my first ex-wife through Ricky, so he owed me. Nah. But yeah, we on tour now. So catch us in the city. And man, I'm just out here grinding.
I think y'all be doing the backstage talking, joking on each other. I've seen that. Y'all got to keep that going. I don't care what they say, keep that going.
Well, Ricky get mad at me a little while. He'd be like, Shaun be going too hard, too long. Like Ricky used to stay over my house back in the day. Me and Tony Tone used to be roommates, and we used to joke Ricky to sleep, man. He used to get mad, like, man, will y'all stop joking so much, man? Yeah, but we used to give him the business back in the day, man. That's when there was a comedy brotherhood, man. So, but yeah, So only thing I got coming up this weekend, man. This little dude right here got my time. We gonna hang out tonight. We gonna sit in this theater. Can y'all see him? He's a gamer. He's a gamer. He got his own YouTube channel. He's a Fortnite guru right now. He in the tournaments and all that stuff. So check him out. What's your YouTube page?
Nash Jones.
He has a YouTube page called Nash. Is Nash Jones Nash Nash Jones. So check out. He got more followers than me on this YouTube.
But he got more than me too. So I'm gonna go follow him. Nash Jones.
Nash Jones.
Nash Jones. Most definitely. Yeah. And listen, I'm very thankful to have you, man. I'm glad you did it. Glad you came through.
Hey man, I couldn't let you down, brother. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, most definitely. We probably will have you on again for a different cycle because you got to meet the chocolate girl.
Yes, see, I've been deprived of the chocolate.
Yes, you've been deprived of chocolate.
So yeah, man.
So we definitely will have you on again because the chocolate girl has to meet you. She got to give her side. She's very great at what she does. I'm glad to have her as a host, and I know she's going to do some family things right now. But I'm always praying for her and wish her nothing but the best. This is the Side Joint, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for coming out this morning.
I was
Follow
like, you might as
Shaun Jones on all social media. It's SHAUN
right.
Jones.
Comic Shaun Jones. Yep.
Comic Shaun Jones on all social media. God bless. Great day.
Appreciate you, man.